Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, Ben and Isaac we just moved the cows up there a while ago to some more hay we unrolled. We're buying time. We've got some hay up there on that ridge. It's some of the poorest land on Judy Farm. It's where my dad used to plow every year. He put corn on that ridge, and so it's really in need of some tender loving care. But I wanted to show you, Ben and we got Isaac driving the truck around, so we're going to actually meet him on this other road over here. But we came up here, and Ben and I were driving through here. This is a stockpile that we skipped, and we're coming toward it. And so this is going to be some of the later stockpile we grazed. But Ben, you want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing there and the height and stuff?
Yeah, so we grazed this like right at the beginning of the dormant season. We came through here and like just tipped it, barely tipped it, and we haven't been back since. And then when we brought the cattle through here, we shot them through this farm all the way to the next farm because we had a bunch of hay we had to feed up there. And so now we're working our way back. So this hasn't been grazed since, I don't know, like end of October probably, something like that.
And today is when? March?
Today's March 21st.
Okay.
So do the math on that.
Yeah.
Recovery time.
3.5 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were just looking.
What do you got there in your hand?
Like the Leatherman has measurements right here.
Okay.
So that's 7, which means this is probably
8.
Close to 8.
Okay.
So I mean that's a young blade of grass. That's got to be 9 inches. Probably.
So you're at 9 inches on new fescue already
and
in
some
March.
of this is short. Like this, there's shorter.
Yep.
You know, like that's only like 5. You know,
Yep.
that little guy.
Yep.
But
where the stockpile wasn't grazed, that's where it looks the best.
yeah, exactly. Like you can see all this dead material.
Yep.
This is the stuff that was, that we grew at the end of the summer, and then this is the stuff that's grown this spring.
Yes.
So
what's that cow gonna do if she reaches in there and grabs that?
I'm not gonna rip it off.
No, don't do that.
but she's gonna grab a mouthful of this with her tongue like that.
Yep.
And you can see there's a bunch of dry material, but there's also some green in there too.
Yep.
So it's gonna balance her out because
Have you been looking at our manure pats?
They look really good.
They're awesome, aren't they?
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's exciting. I mean, it's one of those times where you're sort of holding your breath because you don't know when the grass is really going to start growing. But we got a lot of rain, and now we're getting a lot of sun, so it's pretty much perfect.
And last night it didn't frost.
No, that's the other thing. We had frost the past 2 nights, but
Yep.
it got warm during the day, but still.
Yeah. Mid 60s today, I believe.
Yep. Yep. So.
Well, it's heartwarming looking out across this landscape here. This is what we call the orchard. This great big old mulberry tree there that's fallen over. It's looked that way for 70 years. I tell the young men, I used to come up here. I was probably 6 years old, and I would play on that tree because it's so easy to climb on. That's a mulberry tree. And it's the same, looks the same. There was a house site here. There was an old house and had a basement underneath it. It's long since been caved in, but this is where probably some of the better fertility on Judy Farm is, simply because there was an old barn back there, and the old timers, that's where they probably fed the majority of their animals. So this did get some fertility on it for probably 100 years ago. Man, there's some forage in here, Ben. Everybody is kind of down on. I get a lot of people saying, "Well, that Kentucky 31's got all that toxin in it, and it's pretty rank. It's not good for animals and all that. It's pretty good for animals, especially in the wintertime. And if you manage it and keep some of this in it, right here, the clovers, there's nothing wrong with it. If you pull that open and look at the ground,
I mean, it's still wet down in here for sure from that rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, look at that.
Oh, there they are.
Little bit of an earthworm.
Yep, he's already working on that. Damn, look at that.
Yeah, some castings. a little bit. It's hard to tell because there's just so much.
No, right
mud
there.
in
Look at that. Look to the camera. See that?
Yeah.
All those little round knobs you see there, folks. That's solid earthworm castings. Man.
Yeah. It's still nice and wet down there. I mean, the grass on top is dry, but
If you look real close, folks, on top of that casting, there's little amphids crawling around on top of there. It's got little little antennas sticking out on their forehead. Look at them. See the little amphids? That's soil life. And folks, you gotta build this organic matter. You gotta build your litter bank. You gotta feed the animals. You gotta keep the ground covered at the same time while you're feeding your animals. So we like to think that we have soil livestock, which lives under the soil and on top of it. And then we have the livestock that we sell to make a living on the land. But without one, you can't have the other. And if you don't have the livestock, you don't have the healthy soil. Kind of neat how that works, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
But this is the third week of March, and I would say, well, here these cows are going to be doing backflips on here. I haven't seen this tall grass yet anywhere on our farms for March. And typically we won't, I was kind of penciling in about April 10th to really take off, but Ben just measured grass there on some of that's already up to 8 to 9 inches. So we're closer than I thought. We may be there by, I don't know, 1st of April.
And we still got time. Like, as in, like, we're not going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to be here where we're standing for probably another 7 days.
Yeah, probably at least.
8, maybe 8 days. So, and Ben and I were talking about, we still got all these bales that we have stocked up, and it's not a catastrophe if we don't feed those. So, and the reason being is they're all setting up on post. So we strategically place these. There's a row over here on this side of the paddock. Yeah, there's a couple more way down at the far end there. But all of them are setting up on oak posts. And so by keeping the bottom off that bale from touching the ground, Ben, we were over at Jan's farm. We fed 2-year-old hay over there this year.
Yeah,
what did it look like?
That was the reason we skipped this, was to go and feed that hay up, because you don't really want to keep it past 2 years, even if it is on posts. But
was it rotten?
it was, so like some of those posts were old, first of all, so they were sort of settled into the ground, but there was probably, I don't know, like a couple inches of rotten right on that first layer, but the rest of the bale was totally good. The cattle loved it. I mean, 2-year-old hay, and they were eating it over the stockpile. So
yeah,
that's when you know. But yeah, I mean, it just makes you feel a little bit better that if they were eating that, we've got some really nice posts underneath all these bales.
These are new posts.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're heavy, but they're really big.
Yeah,
which will keep them. That height off the ground is going to really help prevent any rot at all coming in from the bottom. But
and you're kind of the guy that goes in and takes the netting and pulls it off. What do you think about those bales?
It's so much easier to deal with. When it starts to rot, you go and try to pull the netting off, and you get like a foot of hay on top of it, and then you're pulling it up to try to get it off. But these, it just slips right out, no problem. So,
it was almost like they were baled yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's work trying to put them on posts, but it saves you so much headache in the long run.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not like stressed about, oh, I've got to feed the hay. I've got to feed the hay.
It's going to be rotted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gives you a little more wiggle room.
Yeah. I think it's a measure well worth doing. In the summertime when it's 90 degrees out and you're sweating and you're having to deal with the post, you're like, why are we doing this? And I've had, y'all didn't do it to me, but I've had other interns like, why in the world are we wasting our time doing this?
Yeah. But
and
yeah,
there is a reason for it. It's not madness.
No.
There's a logic to it. So
and if you've got a spot where we know we're going to feed all that hay, like there were a couple spots where we brought bales over the fence or whatever, and we knew we had to feed it that winter. We fed it all, and we didn't put it on posts, but you got to make sure that you do it. If there's any question, it's just worth taking the time to do it.
Yes.
It's not that big a deal. It's like going to the gym. don't know.
When you say go to the gym, you mean like lifting the pump.
Yeah,
You get a good physical workout.
Oh, yeah, especially these new ones. They're not dry in season yet. They're heavy.
Some of those probably weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At least. Big posts.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ben, for your time this morning. And we're really happy to be on about a week away from really some super high quality grazing here. I know the cows are ready. We're ready. And we're just going to give them another, 7 to 10 days here. I'm not going to take off until it's really going, because I don't want to chew off the baby's head. Meaning, grazing the plants before they're ready to graze. So get out there and look at your plants. Make sure they all have tips on them. And as we get closer, we're not there yet, but it won't be too long. We'll be pulling this grass apart, and I'll be showing you an actual plant that's ready to graze. We're not quite there. Anyway, everyone have a good one, and we'll see y'all down the road. Hit that subscribe button on the way out if you would, and also hit that little bell symbol right next to subscribe, and you will get an email every time I post a video letting you know that I just posted one. Have a good one.